A few days ago, millions of people and a third of internet users were affected by a massive outage. And this outage acts as a cautionary tale of what happens when you centralize a database. And the UK government can learn a thing or two from this, but we'll get back to that later in the video. AWS, or Amazon Web Services, went down due to a DNS issue on the back end. Now, a DNS issue is a very common issue to happen, but when a very common issue happens to a company that account for nearly a third of web traffic, we have a much bigger problem that we need to talk about. So, what is AWS? Amazon Web Services. Well, we know that Google has cloud storage, we know that Microsoft has Azure, and essentially Amazon have their own cloud computing systems, and many corporations around the world use Amazon's system because it tends to be, well, not just cost effective, but really robust and really reliable. Most of the time. So you'll find sometimes that when you go to like the gov.uk website or the HMRC website, or you go to various websites, shopping websites for example, you'll find that a lot of those websites are actually linked to Amazon Web Services. You look in the URL and it will say AWS. That's because that company is using Amazon Web Services to either host their website or to back up their files in the background or to use it as their directory. And there's also a million other use cases for Amazon Web Services. But the point I'm trying to get at is millions of companies use Amazon Web Services even if they don't realize it. But very quickly, don't worry, it's not a 60-second ad. If you're looking for a fantastic VPN, make sure you check out private internet access at the link down below. Get yourselves 4 months free and 86% off using my QR code up here or that link. It's a VPN that doesn't keep logs, one subscription works across all of your devices, and it's a really good way to support the channel. Now back to the video. What caused the AWS outage and why did it make the internet fall apart? The places hit by the outage vary significantly. It took out major social media platforms like Snapchat and Reddit, banks like Lloyds and Halifax, and games like Roblox and Fortnite. AWS is a US giant with a large global footprint, having positioned itself as the backbone of the internet. Now, if we were to go back 20 years, there was of course different alternatives to AWS, but what happens is kind of what's happened with social media. You end up with dominance. So at the moment, a lot of the internet is pretty much run by the big four in terms of like storage and hosting. You have Google, you have Amazon, you have Microsoft, and I'd say actually those three are the biggest. And the fact that they have so many users and millions of companies around the world use those services, they've basically become the most cost effective, the most effective in terms of services, packages and stuff that they can offer. And they actually have a global domination over the market, which means that when one goes out, the severity of it is a lot more. That's a big problem with centralized databases. It provides tools and computers which enable around a third of the internet to work. It offers storage space and database management, and it saves firms from having to maintain their own costly setups and also connects traffic to those platforms. That's how it sells its services. Let us look after your business's computing needs for you. But on Monday, something very mundane went wrong. A common kind of outage known as a domain name system error, a DNS error. People who work in the tech industry will be rolling their eyes right now. The common error can cause a lot of havoc. It's always DNS is something I hear a lot. When someone taps an app or clicks a link, their device essentially is sending a request to connect to that service. DNS is supposed to act like a map, and on Monday, AWS lost its bearings. Platforms like Snapchat, Canva, and HMRC were all still there, but it couldn't see where they were to direct traffic to them. To put things very simply, the routing went wrong. It's like calling someone's phone number, but the phone number doesn't link to their phone anymore. And to put things even simpler, it's like following Google Maps, but if you remove all of the roads from the map. You don't know where to go. These errors happen for a number of reasons. Usually it's a maintenance issue or a server failure. Sometimes that's human error, someone misconfiguring something somewhere, or in extreme cases, a cyber attack, although there's no evidence for this so far. Now, it is too early to say whether this was a cyber attack. I guess we will find out in due course, give it weeks, months, however long it takes them to investigate what happened. Realistically, if it's a DNS error, it's probably not a cyber attack. It's probably just they were doing an update on the back end and something went catastrophically wrong. To be honest, with DNS, it doesn't need to go catastrophically wrong. It just needs to go wrong. And yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is something serious, but this is actually a bigger issue. Looking at this realistically, a DNS error isn't really a big problem, but it caused a big problem with services going down and also internal business systems going down. Like this affected hospitals as well. and universities and schools and basically major institutions that rely on AWS as a way to like manage all of their internal systems. Now there's more to this article, but I want to get onto the UK government. So obviously the UK government use AWS for things like the HMRC platforms. Also it's linked directly to OneLogin, so all of the server-based stuff for OneLogin is done through AWS. Now there hasn't been an official statement from OneLogin about this, but when you actually go to OneLogin's website, you can see in the URL, it actually takes you to AWS. Now, why am I ranting about this? Well, digital identification. I know we're back here again, boys. But digital identification is something that, if it comes into effect and if it replaces passports and driving licenses and all of this stuff, digital identification will become the thing that enables us to exist in the UK, whether it's applying for jobs, whether it's renting a house, buying a house, proving your age in a shop, or accessing your bank, whatever it might be. We're going to need digital identification in our everyday lives if it becomes a legal requirement in the UK. Hopefully it doesn't, but we're playing devil's advocate based on what the UK government have said. So what if it goes down? What if digital ID stops working? Even for a day? That means someone can't get the medical care they need in hospital. That means people could lose access to their banking, essentially be stalled in the process of acquiring a house or somewhere to live, paying for things, whatever it might be. This is a problem with centralized databases. Now in this video, I'm not having a go at Amazon. The fact is AWS is a really, really good platform for many businesses to use, and that's why everyone uses it. They've built something really cool, but government shouldn't really be using it for their services. And this is avoiding the elephant in the room, the bigger issue at hand here. With stuff being based online, no matter whether it's with Amazon, Microsoft, Google, or the UK government using their own server-based system, it can go down, and it will go down. And there will be problems. If you look at the biggest tech companies in the world, they have regular outages. YouTube has regular outages. On the back end of YouTube, we have a little tab that shows us all of the known issues happening on YouTube. And I'd say probably 5 of the 7 days of the week, there's always something in there that's gone wrong on YouTube and they're trying to address it. But do you know what doesn't go wrong? Your passport and your driving license card, they work all the time. I can have a complete power outage. All the lights could go off, but my passport still works. We're not reliant on web-based systems for our passports to work. All of the lights in this room run on AWS. Yes, all of the applications that control everything from these glasses to those lights in the background all run on AWS. And that's why on Monday, I couldn't record any videos. Now, luckily, I've changed this all now, and that's took half a day. But none of this works on the app-based system anymore. That all works on a standalone system connected to an external server, which I run myself. Lesson learned. But once again, that server can go down. I think the UK government needs to take this all as a cautionary tale of what can happen. Things can go wrong, and when things can go wrong, they usually do. Having centralized databases may sound really good on paper, but in practice, it doesn't always work. And this is a prime example of how something very basic like a DNS error can end up wiping out nearly 1/3 of the internet. Make sure you check out private internet access at the link down below. 4 months free, 86% off, and I shall see you all in the next video.